Hey everybody, welcome to lessonswithtroy.com. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this is going to be volume 2 for my lesson Concepts for Country Backup Playing, backing up a singer on Dobro. We're in open G tuning, so GBD tuning from your thickest to your thinnest string. And I got to put a disclaimer right here at the beginning. There's no tab with this lesson. It's what I'm calling a concept lesson. So I'm showing you concepts on the Dobro, how I think of the fretboard. And we'll be going through a video that's on YouTube of a song that my friend Will Miskall wrote. And he plays in my band, the Gateway Ramblers. And it's a song he wrote called Brushy Mountain. And let's just give it a listen, and then we'll jump on into it.
June of '99, when it all fell apart. Well, Tom Hewlett walked into the needless. He lived a life of pain with his mother and his dad. And on that night they heard the shotgun blast. You were a long way from home, Brushy Mountain. Down in the hollow on the Tennessee pine, with the luck running out and nowhere to go, there's a cold, dark cell at the end of the line.
Okay. So, yeah, as you can notice right there in the center, that's Ben Smith, and he was the one who wrote the song on the last lesson, Concepts for Country Backup Playing. So let's just start off with the chord progression. And I'm going to show you if I just started learning the song, how I would figure this out by ear. The first step is make sure your Dobro's in tune, and you want to listen to the bass. Now this one, we didn't mic everything. It's just the microphone from the camera. This was recorded several years ago, actually. But let's listen to that chord progression. I want to show you something that I do when I'm figuring something out by ear, and that's I use my low string and I listen for the root note of each chord, and that's going to be on the strong beat. So if you're feeling where one is, tap your foot. And I must say too, you can watch the guitar player's hands. There's no rules to this, whatever it takes to figure out the key, the chords, and moving on from there. So let's just listen to the chords. So right there, notice how that locked in with what the bass player was playing. Now Ben, if you can notice, he's playing kind of an interesting version of an E minor chord there. I think he's putting the ninth in there. And that's what my intro, I'll get into my intro in just a second, but I had some certain notes that I really wanted to hit in that intro. I also play kind of the same thing in the solo too. So here we go. Let's figure out this chord. So E minor right there. It's all E minor.
It was June of '99 when it all
And then right there.
Well, Tom Hewlett.
So it goes to a G chord. And then it goes to a D chord. And right there, if you can tell, that looks like an A minor chord. And if you listen for what the bass player's playing, Will,
When it all fell apart.
is G,
Well, Tom Hewlett
D,
walked into the needless.
E minor,
He lived a life of
E minor,
pain with his mother and his
G,
dad. And on that
D,
night they heard the shotgun
A minor,
blast.
E minor.
You were a long way from.
So let me go through these chords and kind of what I was thinking when I'm playing backup. First of all, as I mentioned in the last one, when you're playing backup, you really don't want to play a bunch of intricate stuff while the singer's singing, because you don't want to take away from their vocals. So a lot of times I'll just maybe just roll through a chord. What I mean by roll, just kind of arpeggiate it like that. Now, so it's E minor, and then it goes to a G chord, and I'm playing a G way up here. Sometimes I'll pull my bar back, get that open D. It sounds nice. And then goes to a D. And I just, on that one, a lot of times I'll just slide that down, maybe grabbing 3 strings. Or a power chord like that E. When I was playing that E, I was using that power chord there. And then D. Okay, now check it out when I play an A minor. What I'm doing for an A minor is I'm basically playing a C. But that gives me an A minor 7th sound because I got the note G, which is my flat 7 of an A minor chord, C, which is the flat 3rd, and E, which is the 5th of my A minor. So a C substitutes great for an A minor. Okay, and then it goes back to G. So let's talk about the key for this one, and then that'll kind of open up the fretboard for you for being able to understand what to play. It's in the key of E minor, or the relative major would be G, because E minor is the relative minor of G and vice versa. So we're basically in the key of G. So we're going to have a G chord, E minor, C, D, and that's our chord. So this is a great song for having minors in it and major chords. So the verse is really over that E minor for a lot of it, more of a minor sound. And then the chorus goes to that C chord. We'll get into that in just a second. So let's listen back to the beginning. E minor right here. Okay, let's talk about that note that I hit right there. So it's an E minor, right? That everybody's playing there. And I'm playing an F sharp. Well, what is that? How does that work over an E minor? Because normally in an E minor chord, you have the notes E, G, and B, right? And I'm playing an F sharp. Well, this song has more of that kind of, I don't want to say modern feel to it, but definitely it's not your traditional kind of bluegrass sound. So what an F sharp is that's the 9th or the 2nd. It's the same kind of thing, but that gives that 9th sound over a chord, gives it more of a, I don't want to say a sophisticated sound, but that's the word that I'm kind of thinking of, a sophisticated sound or more of a unique sound, because it's not straight out of the chord. It's it's an extension. Add 9, real unique sound. And that's kind of what that whole intro is based out of, is that F sharp note. Let's listen again. So I play it in that octave, and then I play it up a higher octave, and I start on the G note, and then slide down to that F sharp. I know G works over that E minor chord, because it's the minor 3rd. F sharp's going to give me a nice, more modern color to it, or a dark kind of sound. And same thing with what Ben's playing there. Look, if you look at his hands, notice that pinky right there. I believe that's playing an F sharp note of that E minor chord. Excuse me. Now the other thing I do is I do a roll using that F sharp. I do, instead of a G roll, like that, I do that kind of a roll. Now because I am playing that D of the chord, right, D natural, that would be the flat 7 of my E minor chord, so it's more of an E minor 7. Anytime you have the 7th in a chord, and then you start adding numbers on top of that, 9ths, 11ths, whatever, it's called a 9th. That kind of is redundant, but remember how I said F sharp could either be a 2nd or a 9th? Well, if you have the 7th in there, that gives it that, instead of it being like an add 9 sound, that gives it more of that minor 9 sound, where it already has the 7th in there, and you're adding that 9th in there. So that's a real unique roll over an E minor chord, because you're playing F sharp, G, and D. The 9th, flat 3rd, and the flat 7. But as far as what notes you can choose over the neck in the key of E minor, it's just like the key of G. Instead of ending your licks on G, notes out of that G chord though, in your licks, if you're playing over an E minor chord, in your licks out of notes over that E minor chord. Which really, E minor and G share a lot of notes, but if you focus on the E note, that's really going to make it sound like E minor. See how that's the same exact thing as a G, the key of G, but instead of me focusing notes, my licks, resolving them to G notes, basically, I resolve them to E notes in general, you know. So, okay, let's keep listening. F sharp note, and then up an octave, and then right there. Okay, just slide down, F sharp, E, pull up to D, and then I slide into the note B. I know B is going to work over that E minor chord, so that's the fifth of my E minor chord. So really, I hope you're taking these concepts instead of exactly what I'm playing. I mean, I'll show you kind of exactly what I'm playing, but more important than that, I really want to stress the texture and the thought process of where I'm getting these ideas, because you can apply these ideas to any song really and make up your own licks. Cool F minor 9 kind of roll. G to F sharp. Slide into the fifth of my E minor chord. And then basically some sort of a G run, but instead of ending on G, I end on E, and it sounds like an E minor run. There's ending on E. Now let me do the exact same thing, end on a G, and it sounds all happy. See, it's really just as simple as that when you're playing in a minor key. Know what your relative major key is, and instead of ending on notes that would work over that major, make sure you end on notes that work out of that minor. Okay, let's keep going.